So today we have a great conversation around one of the questions that you asked. So stick around because it's going to be a great conversation. Hi, I'm Brooke Lyons. A few years ago, I lost 50 pounds and finally got my life back. I've uncovered the tools that allowed me to keep the weight off and help hundreds of my clients also lead a healthy and vibrant life. Losing weight is only the beginning, and being happy and healthy is so much more than just a number on the scale. So join me as we discover how to thrive beyond weight loss. Welcome to Thrive Beyond Weight Loss. We are here. I'm Dr. Brooke Lyons.
And I'm Victoria Lyons.
And today we wanted to talk about something I call the little voice. I don't know. I've never had a better word for it. But I think sometimes in our life I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little crazy sometimes because I'll have these little messages that I know that something's saying yes or no inside me, but I used to try to ignore it. But then my husband actually got really smart on it, and he'd be like, if you told me to move that shirt from the stairs, I nearly tripped and fell down the stairs. And I'm like, oh, I know, that's a thing. I had these things. When you were going, if you have kids, when she was a teenager, I had listened to, I think her name is Jenna Jameson, her story, and it's bad. It's horrible. But she had been, and this is going to be a sensitive issue, so I apologize, but at a football game, some boys had taken her behind there, and it wasn't a good situation. And so, you let your kids out of the house to be able to live your life, but you can't be with them all the time. So we always want to impart some kind of wisdom. So do you remember what I used to tell you?
No, but I do remember this.
Yeah.
I do remember this scenario.
So I used to say, listen to your little voice. Mm-hmm. I mean, I still say it to you, so it's kind of funny that you don't remember it because this is my thing. I say it over and over and over again because I even said to in particular my daughter, but my son too, this happens. I would say, if you are at a party or somewhere that seems really safe and everything's fine, but if you, for any one moment, feel like you should not be there, you get out. Mm-hmm. Because we just don't know if that thing was going to happen to you, and when you got out, it changed that thing. We just don't know, and not always do people share the bad things that happen. But I feel like this, we wanted to talk about this. Not only is it a tender issue, but it's something that, when we put food in our mouth, we know. Mm-hmm. A donut's not as good as an apple, right? But there's different apples too. Yeah. I always say, there's different apples. Lots of them have a lot of sugar in them. But I think if we just kind of take a moment to be present in our choices and in our life, that gives the opportunity to have an answer. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Do you remember us saying it at now?
Well, yes, because I believe it was when I was actually in middle school, because there was a year that you let me go to the high school football games, and then literally 8th grade came and I was not allowed to, and I was like, but why? Right. And you were like, you will understand when you're older.
Just processing how to deal with this information.
Yeah.
That's exactly when it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, too, there was a time where we were picking you guys up from a middle school, and one of the boys had noticed that there was a girl waiting underneath a tree, and we were like, oh, we're just going to wait until she's picked up. Mm-hmm. That's why. Now I'm telling you, this is why. So, but we have so much information going through in our mind, and it can clog us up and scare us. Mm. And let's talk today about how to move forward through that scared thing. A lot of times people see us as weight loss, right? Mm-hmm. And they've lost weight and regained it so many times. They're just like, I don't want another diet. I don't know how to do that. And I can't just speak consciousness into their mind right away because they're like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
So, but I do often hear I knew I shouldn't eat that. I knew I shouldn't, I know what to do. Mm-hmm. But then we just don't have that, I don't want to call it power. I'm not really sure what to call it. We don't do it. We just don't follow through. And I'm sure it happens in all of the areas of our life.
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
Yeah, whether that's choosing to go to class or be on time for something, or
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, even in business.
Yeah.
It's always, and also how to treat people.
Yes.
If we don't have the energy, we don't feel good in our body. We talk about this all the time, how that reflects how we react too, mm-hmm. because our body's just trying its best to survive and do all the things that it needs to do through hormones and enzymes and the whole dance is going on, and it can only do so much at a time. So So listening to your little voice, I would say I have some practices that I do morning and night that help my body to be able to refocus, because like your subconscious mind is your most faithful servant. And if you tell it that you're worried and that you don't know how to do something, guess what? It'll prove to you. Mm-hmm. You have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it'll be like, oh yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. I knew I didn't. Something I was taught along the way is that, of course, you've never done this before. How would you expect that you know what you're doing here?
Yeah.
Like if you've never lost weight and kept it off, well, of course, that's your habit. That's what you know how to do. You know how to lose weight, and you know how to do a diet, and you know how to gain it back, because it wasn't something you made into your lifestyle.
Yeah. So on like kind of on that topic, with not like your first time doing things, how do you kind of throughout your like in your life stop and kind of deal with the frustration from maybe outside sources, or you're just yourself by saying, I've never done this before, but I thought I knew how to do it and I'm messing up and I need some help, and this just frustrating. So how would you kind of recommend to deal with that frustration, whether that be internally or externally?
And that is such a every day is a different day question answer. But mentors, I always said to my kids, you can't have too many mothers. Mm-hmm. You can't. If you're a woman, if you're a man, then it's men. But as a woman, I could never have too many women who I can ask questions to, because we have mothers and we have relationships with them. We can ask them certain questions, but sometimes there's just somebody who has a different input or a different way to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's super cool to have that.
Yeah.
And so I've always had mentors in my life. They're usually like in their 90s, because I don't know, there's nothing like a person who had to like saddle the horse to go somewhere to make you remember how blessed we are to have a car that we just turn the key on. I literally, my mentor, Fern, she's been gone for nearly 20 years now, but she was 104 when she passed. And that was, you guys were little. Like Matthias was still a baby. I remember Grandma Fern. Yeah, see? Matthias was a new baby and the car wouldn't start. So I called her and she's like, oh, honey, she's like, I remember the days when like literally, she'd like, and not all horses and like the same blanket underneath their thing. So, she was going on. I'm like, okay, I'm okay. Waiting for AAA
horsepower, horses.
But she was right. Like they just ground us in a different way. So mentors, I think, are definitely one of my answers. But this is a practice that I'm still on today. I'm 55 years old, but I'm still practicing this. Is just finding more grace for myself. And it's not always easy, because especially if you're a doer, you just feel like you should be able to do everything and do it right this minute. Maybe you're not like that, but that's how I work.
Yeah.
And so I do have a lot of judgment on myself. And that's one of the practices I've been doing lately is before I go to bed, well, actually just in the afternoon, I guess, I write down all the places that I felt like I was judging something in my life. Like I wasn't good enough at this, or I didn't do this right, or so-and-so should have. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Like those things are so toxic to success in our life.
Yeah.
To feeling good about ourselves.
And that is, I feel like, one thing that you really helped me through was, especially when I was a kid, because when we went to we did art classes when we were children, and the art teacher, everyone else got to do a new project every week, and she made me work on the same one the entire time. Yes. And it made me so angry, and I just wanted to finish it and be done and move on. And so you really helped me find and kind of learn and kind of push me through. And it was still a struggle growing up, learning to have grace with myself and grace with taking time on things. But
like I said, I'm in my mid-50s and I'm still learning how to do that, because every day is a new experience, right? It's a new lesson, all the new things.
Yeah.
And it will be until the day we die. I wish I could, have better news, but it's going to be until we die. So, but it actually wasn't me that taught that to you. It was Miss Donna, is her name. She was a nurse by trade, but she had realized that art can bring out a lot of who we are. And like if you had children, even when you were in here, like in my tummy, like that, what was that book I gave you once? It was something about bringing your song out, your dance. If
I Hope You Dance?
I Hope You Dance, that's what it was. That was really popular at the time, like when I was pregnant with you. And so I knew you were a dancer and a singer, because the party was going on in my stomach. Like you were moving around all the time. My son, though, when I was pregnant with him, I thought he was going to be deaf and mute, because he didn't move, he didn't do anything. But you know what? I gave birth to an introvert after giving birth to not an introvert. And so it was just, but even in utero, I guess I knew who they were. I never thought of it that way. But Miss Donna, it was very popular in my friend group to take people to Miss Donna for these craft classes or art classes. And I liked her because she was always using recycled, upcycled stuff. So, like, I mean, we had a box at home. There was all kinds of garbage, really. It was like if we finished some, like, nut butter or something, I'd wash out the container, throw that in there. Egg cartons were awesome. Because when you guys were bored, I'd be like, okay, here's the glue. Let's start gluing things.
Yeah.
And then I didn't feel badly because I didn't pay anything for it. I paid, they came with the thing I bought and used. So that was a great thing. But anyway, Miss Donna actually got you in there, and she had this gift of being able to see some of who you are. And for Matthias, when he went in, he didn't have these issues. He was just like easy going with himself and all the things, he was like, whatever. So every day he got to do this different project, but you were 5, maybe 6, something like that. Young, but she already saw that you were a driver and you could do things, and that if you weren't good at them, it was frustrating to you. And so your natural tendency, possibly as growing up, would be, I'm not good at it, I'm not doing it, And she was trying to smooth out some of those edges just when she was like 5.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. And I remember that day, actually. She got in the car and she's like, I never want to go there again. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, because you're a parent and you're like, oh my gosh, are they abusing my child? Like, what's going on in there? And she's like, every day Matthias gets to go in and make a new thing. And that was the day she gave him, somebody had worked on this giant, like it was a castle. And Matthias got to bring the castle home. And you were like, he gets to bring that castle home. He gets to do this thing every day. I have to work on the same thing every day. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to call Miss Donna. I don't know what's going on here. And she said, yeah, that's what Victoria needs to work on, is keeping on the same thing every day, day in, day out. She's coming back, and we did the background. The next day she came in, we did like the image. Next day we put some stuff on that. Like every day has to be her getting used to the fact that things aren't necessarily going to come easy.
Yeah. So kind of, So kind of pulling back into the intuition, not only is your intuition and you kind of the grace you have with yourself is kind of externally is kind of what you're saying, that other people, you not only can have intuition about what yourself and what you need, but what other people need. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Thank you. Yeah. Well, so related to what we're eating, what we're doing, we're really good at what we're getting at, or doing. But the truth is, like, if we want to go to this next level, we got to think of things in a little bit of a different way. So if we're somebody who feels really badly because we're not good at something right now, there's nothing wrong with us. It's just that we don't have the information that leads us down to success. And sometimes that's repeating what we do over and over again and realizing, like in my program, if somebody has lost weight a bunch of times, I say to them straight out, you could treat this like a diet and gain all your weight back. But let's do this differently, where I'm going to ask you questions. And then I'm going to say, okay, so what is that all about? Because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, me. So Dad noticed that I make chili for you guys. We talk about that in some of the episodes. And you guys love that. That's your favorite thing for me. But then I would find myself eating 3 bowls of it. And they're small bowls, so it's not like I'm eating the whole thing. But that's 3 bowls, and I didn't really want to do that. And he goes, of course, the kids are coming home. I'm like, what are you talking about? Again, sometimes, we react in ways that are embarrassing, but I'm going to be truthful with you. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't get stressed out when the kids come home. He goes, well, okay. He walks out. I wasn't ready. But then I'm like, tell me what you're talking about. He goes, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Every time the kids come home, you start to like eat a little bit more. And he was flipping right. He was right, because I'm stressed out. I want things to be good. I want everybody to be happy. But it's not reality, right? Not everybody's going to be happy all the time. Sometimes you're going to walk in, you're going to have things on, like your mind's blowing up with all the things going on in your life, and you want me to be able to hold that. And my mind's going all over the place because I own businesses, and I'm crazy too. But how do we? Crazy. Yeah, well, I'm okay with it. Self-diagnosed. But how do we come together with that? And that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was overeating because I was stressed out, but I never looked at that before. And I consider myself to be pretty proactive in what am I doing and why am I doing it. That was just one of the things I hadn't noticed before.
Yeah.
So if we can take a moment and just step back and be like, why am I doing that? Sometimes I explain it like it's a hole. Like have you ever driven in? It's like usually in the summer, sometimes in the winter, and you're driving. It looks like there's a giant hole on the road. Like a big black hole? No?
No.
Well, now you'll know it because now you'll see it. Same for you. If you've never seen this before, it's a phenomenon, especially when they pave the road with asphalt.
Are you talking about like with the heat that's coming off of it?
Kind of, yeah. It looks like a big hole.
Okay, yes.
Okay. So if you see that, like all of a sudden, you're not really worried about it because in your brain, you know it's not really a hole. But you look at it, if you looked at it and took a picture, you'd be like, oh, that's scary. That's like on my driving surface. But if we get to it, it's like a big hole, and then you drive past and it's like, oh, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
We have holes like that we think are like a bad thing, and maybe there is a memory in there but if we go up to the hole, we're like, but that was 55 years ago. Like maybe not that long, maybe 5 years ago. Like that happened 5 years ago. Why am I still living in that hole?
Yeah.
Because living in that hole makes it really dark, and then makes us react to things like when I reacted to your dad. He was simply saying to me that I eat extra things when you guys come over. That shouldn't have been a reaction to me, but I was so embarrassed that I hadn't noticed that I reacted on him. So of course then I apologized because I'm like, oh dude, I never saw that.
Yeah.
So it's a case of just looking into things a little deeper.
Okay. Yeah.
I know sometimes we talk about stuff and we're like, I don't even know where to go from there.
But so kind of on the topic of like not relationship with food, but food and kind of being out, we are going to go to our mailbag for our question for the episode. Nice. This one comes from Charlie, and he says, it seems like every other day there's another birthday at work.
Oh, yeah.
And people are always bringing those treats. So he asks, how do I not be rude when declining the unhealthy treats or the unhealthy things that people bring?
Oh, that's a tough one. Here's my answer. I got a couple ideas here. One is like, if we let everybody know that we only eat food that like from our house, or like if we give people our plan, like I want to eat healthy. Oh, and actually don't say that. Just be like, I have a certain diet I want to adhere to because, when I do this thing, like I don't eat that food. Like you don't want to seem like you're being rude.
Yeah.
Like you don't eat my food. What's wrong with you? Because when people make you food, if it's like a treat or something, you can almost be 100% sure that that's their love language. And when they're bringing you those cookies or those cupcakes, they're just saying like, I love you so much.
Yeah.
Like even if you're my coworker or it's just a school thing or whatever, they're like, I love you so much that I put all this stuff in a bowl and I mixed it for you and I cooked it and I didn't let it burn and then I packaged it and brought it in. Like that's a lot of effort and a lot of heart space that goes into that. So if we're like, thank you anyway, like I'm not eating that, it can be just it can be so heartfelt from them, but in a negative space. And we don't need to be insulting about it. So it's a delicate, this is a delicate question, actually. It's really delicate. So one thing would be to let everybody know I'm really working on my health and I'm going to be really specific about what I'm eating. Right there will tell them kind of like, I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah.
So when you just say, oh, thank you so much. If it were me, and I've consulted people about this a lot, I would just be like, thank you so much. And I would take one of the things and I'd be like, I'm gonna eat this after dinner. I can't wait. And they'll probably say, do you want to take two? Absolutely. Oh. Well, I would say you can choose no, but like if I'm married, so they'd be like, oh, get one for your husband. Well, sure, I'll take two of them. And they don't need to know that I didn't eat it.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's an art piece, right? This person put all this like creation into that art, which is cooking or baking. And you know what? You can also like have one bite and be like, oh my gosh, that's so good. I can't wait to savor this.
Yeah.
Like you just walk away. They're not thinking about whether you're eating it. They're assuming that you are. But I just never want to hurt somebody's feelings because of the love that they're trying to give us. I want all the love to come my way. I want people to be generous and kind with me. So just walk that one lightly. But I hope
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it comes with like I don't know. Treat people the way we want to be treated, but it comes in all the spaces in our life.
Yeah.
And it just takes some practice.
So kind of just being kind of you're kind of saying, so setting that boundary that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And setting our boundaries doesn't mean we have to be rude about it. Like, I'm not eating that. I'm like on a health thing. Oh, bleh. Who wants to hear that?
Yeah.
Like, because that's shaming somebody like, oh, you make these things. Obviously, you're not as healthy as I am.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and I'm exaggerating, of course, I have a little drama in me too. But that can come off that way. Mm-hmm. And no matter how we present it, like, no, thank you, that says to them, like, you're rejecting me.
Yeah.
And you're not rejecting them at all, but psychology is a thing. It really is just a thing. So, yeah, if you have any more questions about like that, make sure you ask those questions to us, because maybe something we say makes you think about something in a different way. And you're like, hey, but wait a bit, what about blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
Just give us the opportunity to think about that. If we don't have an answer, we'll talk it through.
Yeah.
You know? What would you do if that happened?
I feel like and I haven't ever been in like a corporate setting where some of this would tend to happen. Right. But I feel like when I tend to get treats for people's birthdays or receive those, it's in a packaged bag. Mm. So not always eating it. Of course, there's always going to be the temptation to eat it. Yeah. But kind of saving that for later. And sometimes you do want a treat sometimes. And then you may find that you say, oh, I didn't even know that I had this.
Right.
Like, I forgot about this. This is great. In the freezer,
I find stuff every time we clean out. My husband buys like half a cow at a time. So very often we're like, okay, what else? What do we not eat there? And I'll find all kinds of treats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Things I didn't want to finish. So, and don't think that you can't have a muffin from time to time. Like, muffins are going to happen. It's not going to help you lose weight, but if you're maintaining your weight, I eat all that stuff all the time. We eat out at a lot of restaurants. We travel a lot, and yeah, I don't have aversion to that. I just don't eat it every day, and I don't eat it all day long.
Yeah.
Because I'm a person who has had an entire pan of brownies. I've eaten an entire pie. It took me 3 days, but that's still hoarding. Like, I still ate the whole thing. But I just don't want to. I don't want to do those things anymore because they don't lead to my health and wellness. And I want to. My goal is to die happy, having a great day in my sleep, because my body just said, okay, we're done, we're good. Yeah. I don't want to die with so much illness, and none of this is going to ensure that happens. But with a healthier body, it can tax out at the time that it's supposed to, and not prolong things with sickness. So I love these questions. I love that Charlie asked that, because. Just think about it for yourself. You know, when we plan and think things through before they happen, then we have better answers and better way to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us today on Thrive Beyond Weight Loss, because there's so much to talk about, so we can't wait till next time.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on the Thrive Beyond Weight Loss podcast belong solely to the host and guest speakers, and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any associated organizations or health professionals. The content provided is for informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider with any questions regarding a medical condition or health objectives.